Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are. I'm Vlad TI, and this is Vlad TI Streams. Okay, what I wanted to start off today was we're gonna try to take as many trades as possible, trading with the trend. And I kind of want to show you guys how I'm going to accomplish that. And yes, I have gone through and made the trades myself, but I want to show you what I was thinking and what I did during the trades. So, without further ado, let's get into it. And let's see here. Oh, yes, I have some alerts set up. Alright, this is on Matic, okay? First off, what we need to do is look for a trend, and right here initially we see one good trend, and right here, let's see, and it's not going to be right here, so let's draw this again. Alright. There is one trend, and this is our main downtrend that we're going to be using. Okay? And let's see here. Okay. There's our main downtrend. So we know right off the bat when price rejects and comes back up to here, we should be looking for a sell. Now, that being said, we've also got another downtrend if we look a little bit closer. So, I'm going to draw that right here. And there we go. Alright. Now, here we've got a trend and it has yet to be broken. So, what we can do is anywhere along this trend, we can take a short. So I'm going to just, I think I've got it on this trend, I don't know, or maybe I don't, maybe it's further along. Okay, well, I've got my trend actually set up further along. At any rate, this is one trend that you could do, and I'm going to just do this right here live for us. So, at this point, I can take a short. Now, I'm going to be looking for, and there's a buzzer. I don't want to check you right now. So, right here, I'm looking for a stop loss below or above, rather, in this case, above the trend line, above the swing high, and I'm going to look for 2 times the risk. There we go. And let's just fast forward and see where we get. Now the goal here is if we get a trade that does not come all the way to our take profit zone, we're also looking for a candle to close above the trend. So we either get a close above the trend or we get our take profit. At either position, we will take profit. Alright, so we continue. There we go, coming down. And this is a tag on the trend line. And let's see, bouncing up. This right here would be a close. So we closed above the trend line, so we're going to close and take our loss in this situation. There's a loss. But we can continue further. So let's go and see what we get. Alright, Now I can start to see a trend line forming. So I'm going to continue. Alright, now we've gone up and we rejected. So from this point, I am going to take and redraw my trend line. I can draw it right here. And let's see, is this where? No, it's on further still. Okay, so now we've got a new trend going. We've got our current recent low. So at this point, I'm going to look to take a long position. Remember, we also have this up or down trend, so we know that price is going to look to come back there. So I'm going to take my long, and then I'm going to put my stop loss down here in this instance, and I'm going to look to take profit at 2 times the risk. And that's way up there. Alright. Now, remember, we're going to try to take our profit, but we are going to cut our losses if we break the trend line. So, let's continue forward. And not looking healthy. And there we go. Well, no, we didn't. We candled down to the trend line, below it, but we closed above it. So we continue. And we're still above. And this time we closed below it. So right at this point, we need to accept it. We broke the trend line and adjust the trend. There we go. Now, there's a couple things we could do here. We could accept our loss at that point, because I mean, we got here and it came straight down. At this point, we would be pretty much adjusting the trend line to follow the flow, right? Because it's still an early trend, right? So let's continue and see where we go. Alright, we're going to take a step down, and a step up. So from here, we could adjust our trend to this point right here. Now then, we're not going to adjust too much because we're looking to see how things are going to go. And this may not have been a good trend. So, I mean, I might have wanted to literally bring my trend from all the way up here. And I think I will. Because this makes our little B. Okay? B right here. Where we're either looking to go up or go down once we get into this little pennant right here. So, now I'm going to continue forward and see where we get. And now we're in profit slightly, and back down. Now it's at this point that I am well aware that if we break trend here, I need to cut my losses, because I believe we're going down. We just now rejected off the main trend, so it's a pretty good bet that if we break trend here, we're coming on down, and we need to look for our next trade. Alright, and we did not close below. And this one right here, we closed below. Now, the main reason I am not going to stay in this trade is because we rejected off this main trend line right here. And so that right there in itself tells me that I'm wanting to look for the next trade. So we'll close this trade off right here. But there is another trade, and I believe we're looking for a short position now off of this right here, and from there we're also going to look for 2 times the risk. There we go. So starting off, we're already down twice. Okay, we're down 0.25 and 0.35. So this is not looking good, right? We'll keep going because we're coming up on a trading session here. So there we go. And I think I'm going to refer back to my other trades after this. So here we go. And right there is where we look to get into this trade. And we, as you can see, I've got this, we're above the trend line and we're looking for 2 times the risk. Okay, and if we continue forward, we'll see how that ends up. So we broke the uptrend, we rejected off the downtrend, and once we re-enter the trade, our stop loss was above the downtrend. So now then, we'll continue forward and see how this trade plays, and there we have it. That is our take profit candle right there. Alright, now we look for the next trade. And we're starting to have a little bit of a trend here, and that trend was denied. Okay, so our next one, we'll keep going. Right. At this point, you can see kind of another trend that is formed right here. So we've got a touch, and a touch. And typically you want to see at least 3 touches to create a trend. Okay? So that being said, I think I don't quite remember what all my the positions that I had listed over here are. So let's see, just do one here on the fly, and there's a position, and we set our stop loss just above the swing high, and we look for 2 times the risk. So there's our 2 times risk. Now, as same as before, if we break the trend, we get out. So let us continue forward. And there's a candle below our trend. Now, you've got to make a decision here whether you want to continue with it, with the trade, or just straight up get out. Sometimes you just want to be sure and continue, because this is an early trade. We could still look like a pretty good downtrend if we move our candle up. So I'm gonna continue personally, and accept the stop loss considering it's only 1%. And here we... Okay. Now, at this point, you gotta start thinking, should I accept my loss or not? Because now we're looking at starting an uptrend kinda here. And so here we go. And we break down. And now we definitely have an uptrend going. So at this point right here, we have got to accept our loss. So we're definitely in an uptrend right here, and I believe that that probably brings no. Let's see here. And let's see. We can draw our trend line right here. We can get rid of... We're not going to get rid of this downtrend. We can get rid of this one. So there's that. And now we'll continue forward. Right here, we could take a long position based on that, and we're gonna look for place our stop loss right below the trend line and below our swing low. And from here, we're gonna look for 2 times the risk, and once again, we'll get out if we cross the trend. And we never really got started here. So at this point, we've got to take our trend line and bring it down. Now we've got our little uptrend slightly going because we did not yet create a lower low. So now we'll follow this on out. And right here, you've got to start wondering, because we've got our downtrend coming. We just rejected off of it, and if we continue, we're probably looking to we're probably looking straight back down. But let's play out our trade, and because we have not broken the uptrend yet, so we'll play out our trade and see how it goes. And we got another rejection, but we broke through. And now then, on this candle right here, we should really think about getting out, because this is a massive rejection candle. But still, we have not broken anything, so I'm going to continue. And that should be a winner right there. We've got to accept that as a win right there. Alright. Took a little bit longer than I'd like, but we never broke that trend. We did, however, break this main downtrend right here. We can get rid of this downtrend because it's no longer valid. And we're looking for the next trend. So and we're coming back down, popping up, we're going to get rid of this one because it's not valid anymore. And okay, I see what's going on. Now then. Alright. Once we right here, and I think that's what, no, maybe not, but right here I think we have to take and draw a new trend, because from our recent low down there to our current low, and right here I think we could take a long position based on that. So there's our long. Now we put our stop loss below the trend and below the recent swing low, and look for 2 times the risk. And there we go, we got that. Now, this is a newly created trend. It has only 2 touches, so it's something that we will need to adjust as we go. As long as we're not setting new lows, we're good. And at this point, I think we're stopped out. Not quite. So, we're not quite stopped out, but I expect it on the next candle. No. Alright. So, that being said, we've got to move our trend line right there, because we did not get stopped out. So let's continue as long as this trend line is not broken. Alright, finally we're in profit. And I think that was a win right there. Yep. Alright. So we're lost 1, 2, 3, and we've won 1, 2, 3. Here. Something to that effect. Alright. And where was my next position at? Oh, it was actually right here. So I'm sure I had similar already. So what I did was I took a long position off of this confirmed trend. And I initially drew the trend, and when it came back I confirmed, and that was where because when it came back right here, that was like confirmation that we're headed up. We did not come all the way back down here to our recent low, so we've definitely got a trend going upwards. And at that point I decided to get in on the next candle up and target 2 times the risk, which was a win. Now then, let's look for our next setup. Alright. Got, here we go. Coming up. And we're starting to look down. Alright. Okay, this is starting to look like our next setup. So, going up. Alright. Down. Down. Alright. Okay, now we've got a lower low. So, I'm looking for a high to put a trend on. I do believe. Yep. Most likely. Okay. That right there gave me my trend line. So I can draw my trend from here to there. Now, I'm not expecting a lot out of this, so I believe, yep, that's where I got into my short. I put my stop loss right above the recent swing high, and from here I took my trade. We popped straight down, and here we respect the trend. Still respected. At this point, the trend should be rejected. But that being said, we don't have much of a trend over here, so I believe that we can adjust our trend just a little bit here to accommodate. Alright, and boom. Trend is still good. Now here, we're rejecting off of this previous uptrend that we had. So we need to look at that, because this uptrend is our main trend line. Okay, so we need to pay close attention and see if we can, if we're going to break this or not. So now we're reversing back to our current trend line, and there we rejected off the bottom again. We rejected off our trend line. Another rejection. And boom. At this point, our trend line is more than valid. So we can adjust it a little bit to right here and continue forward. And there we have a win. So I don't know if you guys are understanding my thought processes here or not, but I don't, when it's not a clear cut and dry, you know, early on over here, the trend had just begun. I literally just drew the trend. We barely have 2 touches on it, so the trend is not set in stone. It can vary a little bit, right? Now, at this point, we've got a 1, 2, 3 point touch on the trend. We've got a verified trend, right? So now, once this short is closed, I decide that the trend is still valid. We just rejected off of it, and let's take another trade. So enter the trade right here. Stop loss on above. Our downtrend still holds valid, and we'll continue the trade. Here we came up and we tested the trend and we rejected back down. So there's our win. So as you can see, this main trend line right here is holding steady. We have not gotten rid of this uptrend yet, because it is basically our main trunk line trend, so we have not decided to get rid of it yet. Alright, now here we rejected off of a support, and we'll see what price is going to do from there. Looks like we're headed back to our trend line to test it. And okay, broke our trend line, so now we need to see what's going on. Alright. It kind of looks like it wants to fall back into the trend, so here at this point we could adjust our trend line a bit. And as you can see, it still holds pretty true. So I felt it was, if we come down to there, then we barely even popped up and popped back down. So I felt that that was a good enough of a hint that the trend line is still continuing forward. Alright, and felt that we should get into the trade, stop loss above the trend and above our swing high. So here we go with a 2 risk reward right there, and we're going to see where we hit. Alright. As you can see, we're trying to fall back into our trend, of which this trend line could be adjusted. So right there, we could consider ourselves in trend, but bouncing off of this support zone. Now this is probably a good place to consider taking profit. And there we go. There's our win. Beneath the lies and broken dreams, lost the love I had. And here, tore me apart, fade away. I felt so lost, but I held on to what I had. Ah, I see what I did. I tried to draw a trend line here, and it looked like it was going to be broken, so I had to get out. And that one left me with a minimum profit. But it also showed me that I've got a, I'll show you, continue on. So I got into the trade right here with my stop loss up here, up above the recent swing high, just because honestly anywhere along a trend line is pretty safe to get in, as long as you recognize the results and you place your stop losses in a below the recent swing high or swing low. So that being said, I continued, and at this point it looks a lot like a reversal is coming. We tag our trend line and we bounced up. So at the close of that candle, I decided we've got to get out. And we moved to the next trade, which we can immediately see is coming up, because here we've got our low and we've got our higher low, and then we've got a rejection right here. So we're gonna look and see what we get. Looks like I'm gonna take it higher. Personally, right this second, I think that I can take a long right here off of this candle and place my stop loss down here below the recent swing low. Probably this recent swing low, and we'll set ourselves at 2 on the risk and see how we hit. It's not looking good for our kind. There we go. And that's a win. Alright. Just out of curiosity, what is my next one? I had a trade at a similar spot as to that one. So regardless, I would have done a similar trade, and I would have used this a higher swing low. So given the second trade, we'll see if we hit. So there we get a rejection off our upper trend, and there's our trend, and still playing off of it. Okay, finally we're getting a bounce up, and now we're going to hit our trend, and we did not candle under it, so there we hit. That's our win. Alright. So, trading with the trend, I just want to show, I mean, initially, yes, we started off with these 2 losses. But since then, we've got one, was that a loss? Okay, sorry, well, we had 3 losses. We had 2 losses, 1 win, and then another loss. So, let's see. I just want to count here. So, 1, 2 losses, and that is all so far. And how many wins? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 wins to 3 losses. And I just want to add a little bit of more commentary here, because not at any point doing this have I looked at the RSI, have I looked at this volume, nothing. It's pure trend line, pure uh, price action, right? I mean, this is trading with the trend at its best or worst. Uh, you have ways of minimizing your losses. Your trends are not written in stone until you're like at least 3 touches in, and beyond that, they're a little bit varied. But you've got to use a little bit of common sense too. You know when things look bad. Uh, you need to be used to trading and know when things look bad. So if you see something is not going your way and a trend is, uh, especially once you start using trends often, you can recognize when it's not going to continue, you're not going to hit. Uh, Take your stop loss, take your stop, get out, save yourself some money. You don't need to go ahead and suck up the stop loss completely if you don't have to. So, that being said, we could, and this one trade right here is a pure example of that because we got into the trade, we had our stop loss. Now it started going our way, which was good, but then we hit our major uptrend right here, and things started going sideways. So at that point, when we come up here, when price rose all the way up here to our downtrend and it broke through, that was a clear sign. Get out now. Price has definitely reversed. So we got out. We got a little bit of profit. No problem. And from there, we looked for our next trend. We drew it on this line, and we were able to get in. At this point, we rode down a little bit, and what I should have done right here is adjusted the trend to here, because this is our next big trend going up. And from here, we would look for our next long, probably. Yep. So we come down, we're gonna test our trend, and there we test and we reject. So at this point, we should, not saying we will, but at this point we've got a pretty clear rejection. We can enter a trade. Now there's a couple of options here, okay? And you could put a stop loss right here, or you could put one right here, okay? And personally, I think I'm going to put it down there, and I'm going to take a 2-to-1 risk reward here. There we go. And see how it hits. I am honestly not super hopeful, because I don't think this was part of anything that I'd gone through already, but at the moment it looks good and valid. So there we go, bouncing up. There we tag our trend. We bounce up. And here we're bouncing down. So right here is a decision making point. Okay? We have steadily come across, and you could easily say that price is going to go down right here. we've got a downtrend, and while it's not much, it did hold very steady all the way across here. So we plus we've broken our uptrend. So all in all, what I've got to do here is I cut my losses and suck that one up for a loss right there, and look for the next play. Alright, there's our loss, and continue. It looks like we have a downtrend forming. Okay. There's a couple of different things we can do here, because we've still got a pretty valid uptrend. So that being said, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna redraw my uptrend to here until we set a new lower low. If we set a new lower low, that's gonna invalidate this. So yep, that's what I figured. Alright. Okay. Right here, if going by this trend line, we could take a long on this candle for that matter. But this one pretty well verifies it. But just to show you that you don't have to be anywhere, you don't have to get in early or right on time. What we can do is we're gonna take our trade right here, we're gonna set our stop loss, and we're still gonna look for 2 times the risk. Alright, and we're gonna see how this one plays. Alright. And that's a win. Pretty big win at that. And I just want to see, because I know that I took another long here. Yeah, right here. And it is also a win with the next candle. So on this one, it was, you could draw this as an uptrend, which is what I did on here, and because we set higher lows, and what I just put the stop loss at the recent major low once it crossed over. So alright, we're going to look for our next trade here. Where am I? Alright. Okay. Is this it? No. Remember, we just drew this uptrend right here. We can get rid of this downtrend from back there. And we've got a major uptrend here, we got a major downtrend here. We have cracked the downtrend, and we're now looking for when we can get in again. Alright. Here we've got a good rejection candle. So we could adjust our most recent uptrend down here, and I think that is where I would get in. Right there. That's my rejection candle. Boom. We rejected off this trend. We bounced up, and that's where I decided to get in. I put my stop loss at the other recent low right over here, and see what we get. Alright. Our trend is still holding steady. And boom, bounced off. And still good, still good, still good, still good. Now it's right here. I should close my trade out. But you're in this much profit, you probably got your stop loss set to break even at least. So I think we continue. And we come back into our trend, and boom. There's where we take profit. But I mean, this is just good money management as far as this goes. All of this time, we did not set a single lower low. You know, we went up, we came down, we went up, we came down, but we never we never broke structure. We always made higher lows and higher highs the entire way. So it gives you a lot of confidence. Even when you see something like this break trend a little bit, you can still remain confident that you have not gone the wrong direction just yet. And with that said, I'm going to call this video right here, and hopefully people were able to learn a little bit of something about how to trade, or what to look for, how to draw a trend line. Honestly, it is literally the every trend line that I've drawn here is I'm gonna remove all the drawings here, and let's see here. I'm going to just go ahead and move this back to current. Ah! Alright. This is current price action right here. And what we can see straight off the bat here is we've got an uptrend, and not just one. We've got multiple uptrends here. So this is current price action, and we've got a nice uptrend right here. We can see that this uptrend has been resistance and support in the past. Here it's support, here it's resistance, resistance. We bounced up, we came down, we tagged it, and then we bounced up, we come down, we tag it. So this is a heavy support line slash resistance line. So anything we do above or below this line, and really you're gonna call me out already. You're just gonna bounce up like that, huh? But I mean, this is live price action right here, so I'm just gonna show what I would initially look for. Okay, okay. If I was taking this trade, I would, let me draw this out, because initially I would have that major trend line right there, and then I've got this trend line with 1, 2, 3 now touches, so I would feel comfortable taking a long right here, putting my stop loss down here below that, and now we're going to look at 2 to 1 risk to reward. So that, and that's just literally the gist of trading. It can be that quick when it, especially when it's this obvious. So at this point, honestly, you're more than 1 to 1. You can bring your stop loss to break even, and so now once you're in profit, there is no reason not to bring your stop loss to break even, ever. Once you, especially when you reach 1 to 1 on a trade. Now from this point, I could easily take and trail my profits on up for however far the trade goes. So and I kind of want to see how quick we're gonna break through, but there we go. Right there, it's a win, and you saw it live happen just as quick as that. We saw we had this uptrend, okay? We saw we had another uptrend. There's your breakout, and we got in, and we got our, and that would be our win right there. So with that being said, I'm going to say good evening to everybody, and I wish you well in your trades, and remember to manage your risks wisely. Don't take unnecessary losses, guys. And I'll catch you in the next one.